Writers, yesterday you made a decision about which project you were going to take on. I want you to hold that in your mind and reflect today as we transition to our lesson on rehearsing on the topic that you chose. So, you probably know a lot about rehearsal, both in life and in writing. Whenever you're getting ready to do something important, let's think about the things you do. You might practice for a play over and over, getting it just right. You might practice for a basketball game, running drills and trying out different ways parts of the game might go. If you have to do something like apologize to a friend for hurting their feelings, even, you might say it in your head or out loud a few different ways to figure out how it should sound. If you want to write an essay, you might organize all your ideas into boxes and bullets plan. And if you're going to write a story, you might draw a story mountain or sketch out the scenes on a storyboard or tell it out loud to a friend a few different ways. You all know this. But there's one part of rehearsal that I think is super important, and maybe we don't spend enough time on that yet. So today, I want to remind you that writers rehearse. One of the most important ways that they rehearse is that they think deeply about their intentions, their goals for the writing piece. They make sure that the writing goes in a way that will help achieve their goal. So, you know lots of ways to rehearse. But one thing is true about all the ways you can rehearse is that you have to really think about your intentions, what you want, before you start filling in story mountains or boxes and bullets or even making notes. Let me show you how I think about my intentions. So I'm going to open up my writer's notebook. And I chose the seed idea that I wrote in my notebook. And this idea is about failure. I feel like people are afraid to fail. But the more that I live life, the more I realize that failure is necessary for success. So I decided to write about stories of people, myself included, who have had to fail in order to succeed, who have failed hard, failed fast, and failed forward. I'm going to try thinking about my intentions by using some of these phrases. So, for example, I want readers to feel. I want readers to feel empowered. I want readers to feel that failure is normal. I don't want readers to feel like failure makes them less than or inferior, or failure is something that they should be ashamed of. I think failure is something that they should embrace. I also want readers to understand that there are lessons to be drawn from failure, that failure makes us stronger, more resilient, more knowledgeable. And I want readers to act by being bold, by taking risks, taking chances. And one idea I have to kind of structure my writing is maybe collecting a bunch of vignettes, small stories that could show how success comes from failure. So I'm thinking maybe I can talk about Michael Jordan, for example, who was cut from his high school basketball team. Or maybe I could write about J.K. Rowling, who was rejected by publishing companies many times for her novel Harry Potter, which is probably one of the biggest series in the world to date. So now I have to start thinking about how I'm going to plan this out. What am I going to do? So let me think. What do I already know about planning stories and especially writing true stories? Well, I know one way writers rehearse for this kind of writing is that they do some research. So I might have to do some research, thinking about individuals, influential people who have failed and who have become successful, who have learned from those failures, who have let those failures push and challenge them. And then I could maybe make a story mountain for one thing to show their rise from failure to success.